Bannerlord can be a brutally hard game. Often you're outnumbered and massive armies march against you. Well, in this new series, we're going to work together, friends. What I want you to do is send me your difficult situations that you're either currently encountering in Bannerlord in your campaign, or something that you've dealt with in the past where you're just unable to solve it. I will do my very best to handle these difficult situations. I will share the results on YouTube, provided they have some kind of educational value for people. We will take on these difficult challenges, do some battlefield analysis, and hopefully help you turn around a very, very difficult battle. So join me on this adventure. Please send me your difficult situations. Have a little patience. I don't know how many there are going to be, but I'm willing to take these challenges on for you fellas as we handle your disasters of war. All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment as we continue our Disaster of War series. This series has been fun for me to collaborate with you folks, and I've had a huge amount of emails with different battles, siege defenses, and campaign scenarios to work on. While I can't fix every scenario or take on every situation, please keep submitting your disasters of war, and I'll continue to try to solve them. Now, in order to keep a consistent upload schedule and not flood the channel, I'm going to continue to share the unlisted links to the first 25 or 30 episodes from this series on Patreon as a thank you and one of the many benefits our supporters continue to receive. These links should be ad-free so that you can binge watch at your own leisure on our Patreon site for as little as $2 a month as I continue to experiment with this ad-free platform. In addition to these Disasters of War episodes, we have all kinds of exclusive content from the epic Valandian campaign, Shokuho tactical guides covering firearms, and much, much more. Finally, Patreon supporters continue to have priority when it comes to problems, personal questions, and custom character placement in our epic campaigns. Thanks again, everyone, for your support, and let's get to today's episode and also how you can join in on this new series. This new series, Disasters of War, is basically a combo effort. We are going to work together, and what I mean by that is you are going to provide difficult save games or situations that you want me to analyze and try to solve for you, whether it's part of a campaign or something like that, and I'm going to show you how to do that, right? I have my Windows drive here. It shows my different various drives, and most people should have this little sidebar right here where you have documents and videos and downloads and stuff like that. All you do is you go to this little folder that says documents, and this should be the same for most people, although obviously it depends on what Windows version you're using. For me, I just click this button, documents. It brings it right in here, the Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord folder, and then you go to game saves. Right now you're going to have to search by date modified. Probably you can actually see these are really old save files. It's amazing to think that I was starting to play and I was probably getting rocked by looters in early January of 2022. But all you do then is take this save file and attach it to an email, or however you send an email, and send it to the email link that's in the video description. That's it. I'll then review it and see if it's worthy of an episode, and hopefully your name and your solution will be one of our episodes. All right, friends, that's all there is to it. Hopefully I can see your difficult challenges and we'll take a shot. Thanks again for watching, and now we'll get to today's episode. All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related, and we've been dedicated to this Disasters of War series. And welcome back to our friend Lonzo here. This guy is the third time he's written in. Callan Andros is his character, and I'm going to put the email up here, but I'm also just going to read it really quickly from my phone. He says, I'm using strong AI mod, but now that I am Kingdom, everyone attacks, even though we keep killing them. Money problems again. Do I pay for peace or just kill them? And if so, how? Everywhere I go and kill, more enemies appear. Please help. And then he says something to the effect of, I know I've asked for a lot of help, but it's probably good for other players. And I think it is, right? I think this is a good situation to help people with. So it does appear that he has made his own kingdom. He used to be the Southern Empire, right? He was, in previous episodes, we actually helped him stabilize this western front of the Southern Empire. And if I'm honest, Lonzo, you went independent. You became a kingdom too early. As before, he looks like he has financial problems. Lonzo is one of those guys who seems to hate money. More accurately, he seems to love, yeah, look at that shit. He seems to love a huge garrison. So we're presented here with a bunch of different problems in this campaign, and hopefully you guys enjoy this as we try to fix Lonzo's problems here. We're going to try to solve some of the problems that oftentimes afflict players when they become a new kingdom, when they deal with things like resource management, fiscal problems, diplomacy, etc. I've got a lot of experience playing Bannerlord, and most of these problems can be fixed with literally the clicks of a few buttons here. I'm thinking policies, I'm thinking all sorts of different things here, right, from experience. Now, we can gain a little bit of information here. What's going on here? He's gained the deceitful trait. So Lonzo, we're snooping in your dirty laundry here. You've been bad. Dirthert declared war on you. I think he got married. This guy got married naked, right? Lonzo dissed his wife, got married naked. I guess that's the ultimate power play. Gyarios declared war, and this is not something that's unfamiliar to players, right? When you become your own kingdom, you're a little tiny pipsqueak kingdom. You got a couple cities here and a couple castles. Looks like he's got 3 castles, and they see you as easy prey, right? And so you get attacked, right? This is, in fact, Caladog is attacking a castle of his here at Herturgia. So Valandia, Britania, Ira. So all the big names are involved here. Ira's attacking Thorios castle. Let's look at his diplomacy because it obviously looks bad. So they attack you because of this, right? Your total strength is this little tiny bar. Britania with Caladog, they have more towns, more castles. Southern Empire, same thing, right? More castles. Valandia, 3 times the strength of our friend here, Lonzo Calanandros. So no matter how much you kill, and based on his influence, he's definitely been doing some killing. They're going to keep coming, right? Until you get them to sue for peace. Or more accurately, in most situations, you can actually apply for peace. Now, he's got a powerful army. Lonzo, in the past, we've experienced this. He loves, monstrously strong armies, and he tends to trend towards infantry and cavalry, completely eschewing archers. In fact, his main character is a javelin beast, and if I remember right, he has like virtually no archers. He's got a whole bunch of infantrymen. This gal... she's naked. You need to get some clothes on her. Yeah, look at this. There's no archers, and I don't know, in his whole army there may not be a single archer. So he loves his infantrymen. He loves his cavalrymen, and shit's very expensive, right? You can see from his fiscal situation, he's minus 5,000 a day, right? So we've got fiscal problems. We've got diplomatic problems. We've got attackers at multiple different fronts on our campaign here. This castle is starving, right? Now, there's smoking villages. We talked about that. He mentioned that, and I got a chuckle about it in his last video because he said, my villages are being burned. In fact, tonight, I hope you guys crack open a nice one, strap yourself in, or at least settle yourself down in a nice chair as we try to solve some of Lonzo's difficulties here. I've got a couple beers. Tip one back with me, fellas, and let's enjoy this situation that Lonzo is helping us, or is sharing with us, right, for us to help. Lonzo, you're driving me to drink, man. What can I say? Now, he's got multiple castles out here. Let's right away, shit, this place, Amitatis, is about to rebel. Right away, let's see if we can't pay for peace. Leverage is the most important thing when it comes to negotiating, whether that's for a job interview or hell, a date, right? If you're the hot one of the two, you're the hot chick and he's not a hot dude, right? You're negotiating, right? He's buying dinner or whatever it is. I mean, I jest, but that shit's true, right? In life, you want to have leverage when you negotiate. And this is leverage in Bannerlord, right? The AI looks at this and says, I'm stronger than you. I got more towns, more castles. Why would I pay you for peace? And so, commensurately, Caladog wants 4,400 tribute per day. Obviously, we can't afford that. We'd be broke almost instantly. Again, Calanandros became a kingdom way too early. I would think 500,000 is a good number. And just like a retirement plan, I think $1 million is a safe number. Like $1 million and $1 million francs or whatever. You also want €1 million to retire. You want $1 million dinars in Bannerlord to have a good chance to become your own kingdom, because this is going to happen. They're going to see you as easy targets. Now here, the Southern Empire, we've got a bunch of prisoners, and look at this shit. Lageta is interested in very cheap peace here. So this is an automatic, right? Because she's attacking us, right? Our Eastern Front. I think this is them, right? Wasn't it? Yeah, this is Ira. So instantly, they'll leave us alone there at that castle. And if there's any other villages that they're sacking, that'll also alleviate that as well. So same kind of thing. We're instantly going to go with that. It costs us a little bit of influence there, but we can afford it. And there's no council, right? Because at this stage, Calanandros is a tyrant, a despot. He's the only guy in charge of his kingdom, right? I think. Okay. So he does have a clan. He's got lake rats with him, which is why his army is big, right? Early on, if you can find a clan or two, very important to add them to your army. Although you see it's costing almost 1,000 a day to have the lake rats with us. Now, his workshops, we worked on his workshops last time we helped him, and evidently Lonzo is like one of those guys that just every time you clean his credit card debt, he goes and gets more credit card debt. We're not beating on you too much, Lonzo. Hopefully you don't mind. We're just trying to point out your mistakes here to try to help other players, right? So we're going to fix his workhouses. He's got 3 of them here at Yalmyris. So that's priority number 1. But let's fix this too, right? We've already got peace. Let's secure the rest of this. See the loyalty at Amitatis? That's a problem. In fact, look at the bottom there. Settlement is rebelling. It's not actively rebelling. What that message means is that the citizens are grabbing their pitchforks. Rebellion is inevitable, right? And loyalty going down. Anything below 25 and the city can rebel. Right here, this city is imminently rebelling, right? So let's do a few policies. We're going to try to help Amitatis, and some of these are automatic ones. Let's see if I can remember some of the critical ones. This one, absolutely critical. This should be the first one you do. Your settlement makes a little bit less money, but I remind you, you make 100% less if it rebels, right? So we gain 2 loyalty per day at the cost of 100 influence. This is an automatic perk. Now, we actually helped Calanandros set all these up, but that was when he was the Southern Empire. When you become your own kingdom, all the policies go back to 0, right? So he had 1 or 2. We're going to activate some more of these. Where's the one where it makes your army larger? It's called like Royal Guard. Here we go. This is another obvious one, right? Our army gets bigger. He's going to need that, right? He's got armies marching on him, and he's got these huge garrisons. So we want to take advantage of that and make those garrisons mobile. That'll allow him to command a much larger army. 60 is a huge bonus. I think this is another good one. No. This one right here, same thing, right? Taxes go down 5%, so we're getting a little bit less money, but loyalty up, right? We've got to get that loyalty up. We'll deal with the money situation later on, and there's a few different ways we're going to deal with the fiscal situation. This is another one, right? Settlement loyalty is increased, security goes down a little bit, and we lose a little bit of influence, but that's okay. We're gaining almost 9 per day. We're a popular fella here, right? It's just like the YouTube channel. On the average, I get about 50 new subscribers every day, right? That's sort of my baseline. If I log in after a week and there's been 400 or 500, I know it was a good week, right? Because more guys came in. In this case, as long as your influence is going up, that's a good thing, right? Because we're going to acquire a lot of influence through war. Now, there's 1 or 2 others that are in here that I can't remember off the top of my head. There's so many of these. I would encourage you to explore all of these. But in order to make sure this episode isn't like a fucking 40-minute episode, we're not going to be going through every single one of these. There's one other one here. I think it has to do with imperial towns. Here it is. This one we're automatically going to do too. Towns held by the ruler clan gain 1 loyalty and prosperity per day. Towns held by the non-ruler clans lose. We don't have any non-ruler clans. So again, another automatic. Now that's used up virtually all of our influence. And we need influence to keep our army large. So I don't want to go below a couple hundred, give or take. But just those changes right there. Let's see what's happened to Amitatis. Remember, this place was almost rebelling. I bet it's plus something now. Look at that, plus 4 loyalty, right? That number in parentheses is kind of like a weather report for tomorrow. They were grabbing their pitchforks yesterday. They're still thinking about it for tomorrow, but the citizens are rapidly becoming docile at Amitatis. In addition to that, we have peace now, so Thorios Castle is safe. It's got a gigantic garrison there. Lonzo and his troops. I mean, he just loves to get huge armies assembled. Lonzo was definitely your average prepper. Like I said, he's definitely that guy. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, we can make it there. I want to fix some stuff at Yalmyris, but it's going to take some time, and I don't want this castle to fall to Caladog. I want to smash whatever army is there, right? So there's 2 purposes, or really 3, to go to Yalmyris here, right? The wife is probably there. Yeah, she's still governing at Yalmyris, so he's got his wife, his pregnant wife, governing at Yalmyris. We're going to fix his workshops, right? We're going to try to fix that shit so he starts making a little bit more money there. He's minus 6,000, right? We're really hemorrhaging funds, but we also need to sell shit. He's been winning battle, and I didn't even look. I assume he's got some shit for us to sell. Now let's get his workhouses up first. This is something I've talked about before. Olives. He needs olives, hides, and hardwood. Now the city must not have it. Let's see what he has in his stash. In the previous episode, I encouraged him to stockpile this shit in the stash. And look at this guy. He is a total prepper. Lonzo, we know that you have a bunch of dehydrated food and a bunker in case COVID, 2.0 comes back or something like that. This guy is like your prototypical prepper here. We're going to be able to put lots of olives. What was it? Hardwood, olives, and hides, right? We're going to be able to load up his workhouses here, right? You go into warehouses, you click those buttons in that warehouse screen that basically says, yes, use from, okay, he already has a bunch of hardwood, use from the items that you put in the warehouse, and then suddenly his warehouses are going to be more profitable than they are right now, right? Much more profitable. Now his wife's doing a good job. The city has plenty of money. Looks like he's still pouring money into construction. Ordinarily, I'd be recruiting troops, but with his deficit, I'm not going to. What I am going to do, though, is I am going to get some archers, because this guy hates having archers, and if we're going to fight against the Botanians, we want some ranged units. We'll get some high-end troops here, and another 20 troops. Let's get... he just does not keep archers. Does not like archers. And he's got tons of troops here, right? There's just heaps and heaps of troops here. I bet his main army here is just stacked. I mean, there's almost all tier 4 and above. And now we're going to be able to put out a pretty big army into this world and go to war with the Botanians. Now, we also have to deal with the Western Empire and the Valandians too, right? So there's battle coming. Let's go ahead and dump all this food on here. The city is 25,000 gold, and we want all of that, right? In fact, we can dump the hardwood on there as well, because eventually those merchants will use that. And obviously, we're going to sell all of this excess gear. He's easily going to be able to collect all of the money in the city. In fact, far exceeding all of the money they have. By the way, your prosperity in a city determines how much money there is, right? So if you have a city with 10,000 prosperity, which is a thing, right? I've had cities with 10,000. They will have like 200 grand in gold, right? This city's got so much that we can just take all the odds and ends from it. We don't need to be super precise here, but we need this money. 30,000 that we get from this city. That's hugely important, because every day we're coughing up 6,000. The mercenary payments are really biting, and that garrison is really kind of ridiculous. Now, let's see what else we got here. We got 2 other Lake Rat armies we can call. This is all of our forces now. Let's go see if Caladog's got a small army here. It's going to be close. 140. We're going to make it, though. And I know, some of you are probably incredulous, like, how can you know that? I gotta look. How did you... What are you doing here? Gain the deceitful trait. And then taken prisoner. Taken prisoner, huh. Usually you get the deceitful trait by doing bad things. I wonder if he's been doing some bad things here. He's just taking people prisoner. I wonder if he's been raiding villages and shit like that. If you execute people, you can get that trait. I don't see any executions, though. That's a good thing. But who knows? Rustica. These people. You're red-handed, dude. Wait a minute. Yeah, he's red-handed here. So this is what he meant, I think, by when he said he's been killing them. I better have some more to drink here. Maybe it's not that funny. Our man here, Lonzo, that's what he's saying. He's saying he keeps on killing them. But they keep on coming. He's executing his enemies. Well, you're going to have some relation issues there, Lonzo, if you kill everybody. That's hilarious. I wonder how many people he's executed. If you execute a lot of people, you can have a disaster, basically, right? You can execute yourself out of the game, because no minor clan will join you and shit like that. I mean, who knows how many of them he's executed here. But we've caught you red-handed at least once. We know he's killed at least one noble. Now look at that, 16,000, partly because of the money we spent there and other expenses. Now the timing on this, let me explain this point. This point's important too. A lot of guys are looking at this, you're not going to make it, right? You're not going to make it to the castle 95. Yeah, we will. I've played enough Bannerlord that I know the timing down to a T. Maybe that's not fair. It is what it is. And I'm going to help you guys with this. A city collapses very quickly when there are 100 defenders or less. A castle doesn't collapse until it gets to 30. And what I mean by collapse is a city will go from 100 to 0 defenders in like 2 seconds, like 2 seconds of the movement time. A castle doesn't do that till you get to 30. So you see how it's still ticking down, and we're going to need it too. What is this? 1,063. We might need every ounce of this here. This is going to be battle royale, and that's good, right? We're going to have a heavy hitting battle as part of this episode. He's got some prisoners. We're going to basically need everything we've got here. This is the Botanian King. Of course, he's got elite troops because Lonzo is using the Strengthen AI mod. The good news, though, is that we should at least have a good chance to win this battle. We've got, our full army here. We're going to gain a bunch of influence, and then immediately, if we win this, we're going to basically sue for peace. Or more accurately, we're going to initiate and see whether or not Caladog will accept peace from us, right? Does that make sense to you, fellas? We're basically going to see if him being captured, just like Francis I of France when he got fucking captured at Pavia, we're going to find out here. I think that was Pavia. We're going to find out if the Botanian chieftain will take peace once his ass is in chains, right? Now let's make sure our inventory is okay here for this battle. We'll take a quick peek. Decrease taken melee attack damage. Let's change that, right? Let's get... he does have it. Decreased ranged attack damage. We're going to get shot, right? Now, his other units, it seems like he had decent banners. I'm encouraging you guys to do this shit, right? You want to have some good banners for your units. He has really odd units. No archers at all, which is a major disadvantage, but it is what it is. We will fight Calandros style, right? Lonzo style here, and into battle. I better sit up here. This is a big battle, a big slugfest here, and a critical moment, right? This fucking is all for naught. If we lose this battle, there will be one good effect. Oh shit, it's snowy. There will be one good effect, and that is the enemy will be greatly reduced, but more importantly, his garrison, quite frankly, it'll be good because we'll lose a bunch of troops. And I know that sounds strange. You don't want to lose. I'm not saying we want to lose, but what I'm saying is all of a sudden his costs to keep his troops will be a lot lower because they'll be fucking dead, right? You don't have to pay for them. He's got so many troops. You could legitimately convince me to disband some troops at this stage. This is better, right? Let's kill them in battle. Napoleon would agree with this kind of tactic. Let's kill them in battle. That way we benefit both ways, right? Now, he has no archers, no archer captains at all. So we're just going to take any one of these guys that has a little bow skill and just stick him with the archers because he doesn't have any archers, right? He literally doesn't have a single archer. Here's his only person that has a little bit of... I think that's a horse archer. Increased mount movement speed, but we'll go with it, right? Like, it is what it is. He's running what I consider a highly subpar Bannerlord. We need Calandros to charge the cavalry. Decreased range taken. A subpar Bannerlord army. You do not want to have so few archers. Now, he's got a lot of skirmishers. Holy skirmishers, right? There's lake rats galore in there. He's got other skirmishers. So we're going to try to collapse on the enemy's flank here, right? We are going to, let's see, wait a minute. Let's try a different approach. Let's try a center attack, 4th, 5th. Yeah, let's try this. All right, what we're going to do is try to roll up the enemy's flank. So 2nd, 3rd, which is shock troops. You get shock troops in this situation by putting shields on your 2 other infantry divisions. This division has no shields, and so you get these Manavlions, Palace Guards, right? These are the kind of guys you want getting to that enemy and mauling them. Now, they still got to deal with Fiend Champs, but hopefully having a bunch of cavalry out in front is going to soften basically their approach, right? With Calandros leading, decreased range taken, so they'll be able to close, and all the Botanian ranged weapons are going to do less damage. Meanwhile, the 8th Corps here, we can swirl in behind the enemy. So we need to get closing distance. That's vital. The 1st Division here and 6th Division will basically be told to charge from the get-go, because by the time they get there, hopefully we can swing in with this 2nd, 3rd, and 8th and win the day, right? That's the plan. So let's see how this looks here. Of course, I remind you that we narrate all these live, right? So any one of these can go shitty. Now, we don't have mods like the Death for All and shit like that turned on. And notice I haven't charged with the center yet, right? We're going to wait until this divisions get a little bit of distance going, and I'll actually advance with the 1st, 6th, and the 4th can charge. The 5th, we actually just want in the woods here, right? Just kind of in these woods, sort of approaching the enemy. Meanwhile, we're just coming in here full bore, right? 2nd, 8th, and 3rd Corps, that's the 2 cav divisions, and the shock troops are going to be later, right? They're going to come through a little bit delayed. Here we can actually have our 8th Corps basically push the enemy cavalry off us. Now we're trying to turn the enemy, right? We're trying to essentially flank the enemy here from the side. We're going to push up infantry divisions at the center here. So 1st Division, 6th Division, 4th Division can be just positioned here, right? We just want these archers spraying. The archers are going to be highly impactful here, and that is because, in theory, if we do this right, the only units that'll be shooting in this battle are ours, right? The enemy is going to be completely surrounded here and hyper busy while our units shoot. And speaking of being hyper busy, look at that fucking there with his helmet. Oh, I drilled Caladog in the head, and it still didn't drop the guy. All right, so 2nd and 3rd lead the way. The 8th Corps is back here already fighting. And look at the death spam. That's good, huh? That's a good-looking death spam. The 6th Corps, let's move these guys on the enemy's flank. That is skirmishers, right? So we want those guys boring in here. And the idea here is to kill our own troops, right? That's what I recommend. Jokes aside, right? The idea is surrounding the enemy and basically making it so that only our archers are shooting, right? Our archers are now positioned on this ridge. Their archers can't really shoot. All those Fiend Champs are scrambling, trying to find an opening. They can't. Now, they're still going to fight, right? These are Fiend Champs. These are all kinds of nasty Battanians in here. You know, it's not like you charge Fiend Champs and, oh, we win, right? They're going to be wailing away on our infantry. In fact, they'll probably inflict serious losses, but none of their units are shooting, right? And that's where they're most deadly. Meanwhile, look at our archers. Just beautifully positioned there. Now, we've got to watch for reinforcements. That's coming for sure. And you as the commander at this stage, you have done your job, right? You've completely surrounded the enemy. There's going to be death. That's all there is to it, right? It's a giant mass of Battanian troops. We're watching for reinforcements because it's coming, right? Our own reinforcements will appear too. I'm going to charge with that 4th archers. The 5th here is basically just smoking anything that's visible. In fact, you can see Fiend Champs are starting to come into the open here, and they're getting smoked, right? Because our archers are positioned, already standing still. We got another, oh shit, shit. Arrows flying everywhere. Look at their lord ran into our archers there and got mauled. Now our 5th Corps can charge. And we've done about as much as we can early on here. Now, there's still some more I can do. The enemy forces are coming up. I want to basically cut off all the forces that we're killing right now from ones that are coming up, right? And so what I'm doing is putting cavalry in a line, right? And that's going to limit how much their reinforcements impact our future waves here. Right? We're basically getting reinforcements. They're getting reinforcements. And I want their reinforcements staring at a big line of cavalry holding up a shield. This is exactly what... well, not exactly, but this is the same concept of cavalry screens in warfare with people like Joachim Murat, right? The French marshal for Napoleon. He would do a lot of cavalry screens. Admittedly, his were more deception. But here, in this case, we're protecting your units, right? Now, the enemy is pouring up reinforcements here. We're going to have to sort of regather our forces, but we have a superior position, and we've done major damage so far to their units. There's this 8th Division. Let's keep pushing this 8th Division forward. Across the valley there, our archers are beautifully positioned. Right? They're basically just firing away. Over here, we can actually get the 6th and 4th. Those are archers as well. Continue to move those guys in. Now, the infantry, I would recommend you just charge in line formation. You're doing that because you don't want them in shield wall here until they get close to the enemy. Until they close, you just want them pushing up as fast as they can. Meanwhile, our cavalry lead the way, right? All these cavalrymen leading with their shields. Behind them are our infantry, right? Our archers are advancing. Our skirmishers are advancing behind this line of cavalry. Now, these horses aren't, immune. They're still getting shot. They're still suffering damage. But the whole time they're moving, Those guys are basically just pushing a hole for the rest of our troops. Right? It's like blockers in a football game. Choose your different analogy here, right? And it makes it a lot harder for the enemy to deal with our infantry, right? All of a sudden, our infantry is going to appear right on the enemy, right? Because our cavalry have just plowed the road. Now, at this stage, I'm charging with them because our infantry are close enough to engage, right? Now, the last thing I like to do is after you charge with cavalry, have them follow you. And just your job here, Lonzo, Kalinandros, anybody else watching, right, is really simple. The enemy's got all kinds of skirmishers, archers in the middle here, running this way and that, hither and thither, trying to throw javelins. Run your units back and forth. Just have them go back and forth in a big, chaotic, mauling line. The good thing is that the AI does a decent job sort of stabbing with their cavalrymen as they do this. The more important part here, though, is not only are we distracting them, but we're trampling guys, we're interrupting archers, we're knocking skirmishers to the ground. It's causing chaos, and while that's happening, our real killers are coming up here, right? Our infantry line is arriving at theirs, and the screen is filling with green here as our units just plow the road. The day is lost. Man, we smoked Kalidog there in that battle, and that's probably from mods we have. Normally, you hit a guy for 150, and they die, right? In this situation, we do have a couple mods that are making this harder than normal vanilla Bannerlord. We have a mod that's called Powerful Heroes, and that gives the enemy leaders like Kalidog, Monchug, etc. That gives them about 3 times the normal hit points, and they also take less damage, about 30% less. And this is just something we've done with our epic campaigns to make things a little bit more difficult, a little bit more enjoyable. You'll get to a stage in Bannerlord where Bannerlord difficulty is not hard enough, right? And you need essentially hell mode. We have episodes on the channel that talk about it. If you want to learn more about it, there's definitely channels for you to explore. But barring a last-second disaster here, this battle is ours. Kalinandros can celebrate with his men here, yell, "You coward!" And we just blew the Battanians out of our western front, right? This is 2 large Battanian armies destroyed. I didn't see if Kalidog went down, hopefully, right? Because then, of course, we have their king captured. That's leverage. That is the definition of leverage, right? We're going to take a bunch of these guys prisoner. These are all the lords, right? That, in fact, every single one of them so far has been a Battanian lord. And hopefully the biggest lord of all, with his stupid helmet, is amongst the taken. Now, I don't see it yet. No, I don't want to do that. It looks like he escaped. So we are going to try to chase him down. And of course, we're going to take some archers prisoner. If you keep sending in these save games, Kalinandros, I assure you, we're going to make an archer lover out of you somehow, even if that means forcibly putting them into your roster here. Now, we got too many prisoners. Better do some upgrades here and see if the king escaped. There's a few things we can do if he did escape. However, if he's got a little tiny army, he might be able to get away. A bunch of nice gear here. Well, actually, it's not that nice. Legendary. It's legendary junk. Everybody's got one of those legendary beer cans. Nobody will give you shit for it. And somebody took him, right? Kalidog is captured by somebody. So, he's taken prisoner. Yeah, so we've got him. We can go execute him if we want. In fact, that's basically what you've been doing so far, right? In this campaign there, Lonzo, right? You've been executing your way to victory. Well, it's a good way to lose at Bannerlord, right? Because your relations crater. We're not going to do that, right? We're going to take Kalidog here, a bunch of these prisoners. And the first thing we're going to do right away, we're going to do a little simulation here that we just sat down with Kalidog in the snow and said, so you want to pay us now for peace, right? And at least it's a lot lower here. Now, they're still not willing to give us money for peace, right? In order to do that, we probably need to lay a whipping on them. So what can we do here, right? We could siege Lageta. If there's a small defense force here, I think we'll squeeze this in. What I mean by squeeze this in is add this to this episode. This is going to be more than one episode here as we try to right this ship for Lonzo. I think we're going to run over to Lageta real quick. I am going to dump a few archers in here. Or maybe not. There's actually a lot of elite troops here. Look at this shit. He's got Fiend Champs just wasting away here. What do we got here? What can we do? Well, I kind of want as many forces as possible for a siege of Lageta. It's the old saying, right? Sometimes the best offense is the best defense. In this case, it is possible that somebody else will come behind us here and siege Hertagia Castle. We get a little autosave here, which is good. In case we get a crash, we'll at least be able to come back to this point. Now, there's almost no garrison here, right? So Hertagia is highly vulnerable. Let's see if one of these guys here, what do you got for troops? What I would love to do is put like 30 or 40 mediocre troops in there, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be easy. So you know what? We're just gonna take a chance here. We're gonna go straight to Lageta. It's a gamble, right? Just like in life, sometimes you got to gamble. Now, the rest of the kingdom, at least temporarily, seems stable. The loyalty's going up here at Amitatis. Thorios is still starving. Who we at war with? It's all to the west, right? Landia, Western Empire, indeed. So it's the western front that matters. The Almiras could be under attack. In fact, there's a good chance we see other armies heading to Hertagia, right? Hertagia lights up as like a tasty treat for the enemy, right? When the enemy AI sees that and there's 100 defenders, they might even send a single army of like 200 troops to siege that. It's basically considered a red-hot target here for the enemy. They're going to be coming. And let's see, we're going to have to donate some of our weakest troops here. Otherwise, we're going to get deserters. And what a powerful army, right? At this stage, we've got so many good troops that, like, I don't even have weak troops to donate. It's quite an army that he is developing here. I don't even really want to give up these archers. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. And, of course, these troops will stay with us. But, you know, when you give them to a minor clan, it's important to remember your minor clans can leave you on a heartbeat, right? These guys will leave you faster than that shitty girlfriend of yours. The first fight you had, she just instantly fucking packed her shit. Rage quit on the fucking relationship. Just like that, these minor clans will betray you. And, of course, we got this going for us, right? Deceitful. Who knows how many people Calanandros, Alonzo executed. You don't want to do that. Again, I won't say it anymore. Maybe you guys are having fun with it. This is siegeable here. And what's interesting is I think we sieged Lageta last time for this. We're going to, let's see, what do we do here? If we take too long, they're almost certainly going to siege Hertagia. I think he has bad siege skills too. We got some perks here. We're not going to spend a huge amount of time doing this kind of shit. His engineering sucks. Don't we have an engineer that's with us? Yeah, his engineering skill sucks is what's going on. All right, we're going to rush it again. We rushed it last time. We had some success. Very risky because they're going to have all of their catapults. They have a good defense force, right? You can still lose. You can still lose a battle like this. If we lose and have to retreat, it's a big setback, right? Because by the time we eventually fight this keep siege, we're either going to be facing a siege somewhere else or they're going to have forces right on us here, right? Now, we're not using the reinforcement system. We will try to duplicate the mods that you guys are using. If you guys are using the reinforcement system and you want me to use it with your save game, you got to tell me that, fellas, right? You guys don't mind if I drink a little bit, but we won't crack a beer right in your ear here. All right, the nice advantage also of this taking a little bit of time is it's our army's healing, right? Where our companions are getting healed up. Lonzo's 100% here, and it looks like we can get this siege tower up before dark, although it's going to be close. Man, his siege skills just suck. God damn it. I don't want to siege at night, but I also don't want to take the extra 12 hours. Let me think what we do here. Nobody's attacking. I mean, I've got no reason not to build another piece of siege weapons. There's nothing imminently coming here, which kind of surprises me, and nothing is being sieged yet. I'm really surprised that that Hertagia is not lit up yet. It's right there. It's got a little tiny garrison. It's going to be sieged. The reason I'm doing this is that it's almost already built. We're already here. The enemy already has the maximum siege. We might as well have at least an argument here. And by having one fire catapult, or at least one regular onager, or at least adding a little bit of damage to our assault here, right? If you got a couple guys on that, they'll do some decent damage. There's another decent reason to have weapons like that during the siege process. If you have a siege tower and you have a siege onager like that, the enemy siege weapons sometimes will prioritize attacking those instead of your troops, right? So in a way, it distracts them from doing massive damage to your troops because they are going to do massive damage to your troops here, right? We don't have... he's missing all kinds of units here. I'm still going to spend 30 seconds to do this just in case it gets ugly. we don't have a huge margin of error for a battle like this, right? We have very, very small advantages on an enemy force in a situation like this, right? So we want to make sure we go through this with an intelligent manner. And if we have some extra siege weapons, that's really going to make a big difference, right? It's basically the siege tower will distract them from destroying the ram, because if they destroy our ram here, we are absolutely fucked. Now, this is always a nice advantage. You see those little fireballs? I want to get to those, right? Because then we can throw those down on the enemy. Over here, it's hard to see, but on my high definition monitor, I see gray rocks. That means I want to get to either here or there, because of course if you can throw those fireballs on the defender, the whole siege becomes easier. That means we're going to prioritize this left side, right? Or right side. I talk about picking one side. You're still going to approach from the other directions, right? Your forces here are still going to do their things. We still want the 1st Division getting up there on the ladders, but I almost always advocate going hard to one side. And generally, I would prefer that you went to the side where there's fire catapults, right? That way, not only can we use them on the enemy, but we're not going to be completely trashed by all their fire catapults on the way up, right? If we can get up there and basically get a hold of those fire catapults, disable the guys that are on those towers, that's going to make a big difference in this siege. Now, I'm still going to help these guys over here. I'm also going to give them a couple archer divisions. Just spread them out. I like to do this before the ram gets there, right? If you can apply a lot of pressure right at the get-go to the enemy force. How come I can't get on this horse? What the fuck? There we go. If you can apply pressure right away to the enemy, it just makes the whole rest of the siege so much easier. Now, stupid fucks may not use that other ladder. Sometimes they're fucking disobedient. It is what it is. Still not a perfect system. The 2nd Corps is here. Use those siege ladders, right? Please use them. And they don't always use them. Yeah, they're like running off and shit. Let's hold these guys. If your guys just run off, right, while you're trying... Oh, you know what's going on? There is no siege ladder over here, right? Because we have a siege tower coming up. If your guys run off, right, and you're getting the siege ladders ready, just tell them to stop. Now, the siege tower is going to make it, barely though, right? It's starting to get pounded. We want to get up there, though, as fast as possible, because those fuckers up there are killing like 20, 30 guys every 10 seconds. I haven't actually seen... Yeah, there goes a shot. It's going to maul those guys over there. Bam! Right, just drills those guys. So we want to get up there as fast as we can. I'm going to drag this 2nd Division. Kalanandros likes to lead the infantry. Wow, that's precisely what we're going to do here, right? Right into the fucking midst of the enemy. We're not taking a no for an answer, right? We're just going to push right by these guys. Blast our way into this city, and as soon as we get... Yeah, this is even better, right? Just drag these guys all through here. You just want to physically be in here, because if you can just tell your troops to get up here, this is like the fastest way for these guys to get into the city. This guy's cheating. He's fucking halfway down the ladder there. Now you want to watch out for reinforcements behind you, but it's all about speed. Now, they're doing a pretty good job of denying me access to that top tower, right? They're basically... And look at, here comes our forces, though. They just plowed the road, right? You tell them to go to a location, they go. If you tell them to charge, they'll attack, and they'll occupy themselves right at the entrance to the ladder. I'm not even going to bother with that fire tower, or with that fire catapult. There's nobody to kill with it, right? We can just charge here. Our forces have blown open this side of the city, and we're not vulnerable over here anymore to those catapults. The situation where you really want to press there is when they're pounding your troops and they're defending the wall vigorously. That's a very bad position to be in. Now, I just looked up at the power bomb. We just blasted through this city. There's a weak force here, and even with 3x speed, we should be able just to smash our way through these forces. Save you a little bit of time here. And we're going to conclude this episode after this, right? We have successfully made the first major turnaround in this campaign for Kalanandros. Nobody died. Not too many losses, really, even. It says retreated to the keep. I guess we can go ahead and play that while I give the rest of this spiel here. This might be 3 episodes here. We're going to do at least a few more episodes, and the reason we're doing that is because it's not quite done yet, right? There's possibly going to be war with other kingdoms that pops up out of nowhere. These kingdoms that we're fighting. We're fighting 2, well, I guess it's 3 different kingdoms at the same time here. It's not a gimme that we're going to be able to turn this around. were so broke. And what I mean by that is because he went independent with so little money, we don't have a lot of margin for error here. And I'm going to try to basically help you guys in a situation where you did a little premature ejaculation. Right? We got some non-optimal conditions here again by Lonzo. But again, I appreciate him submitting this. And of course, this is your opportunity to join this channel, this series, right? This Disasters of War series is highly popular with fellas. I'm getting a lot of good feedback from it. You guys appreciate seeing difficult situations, and also I think you enjoy sort of the organic feel of me being tossed into a difficult situation and seeing what we can do with those situations. There's a famous Total War channel that does this basically. I didn't know, for the record, that was even a thing. But I'm glad to imitate, right? If that guy is watching any of these and he gets concerned, I would just say that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, right? Even without knowing that he had that channel, I approve. I think it's a great concept. And hopefully there are several of these episodes to keep you fellas entertained. So we're going to pick up a few prisoners here. But I consider this first episode, this first stage of the recovery, complete. Lonzo's halfway, I would say, on his way to having a successful kingdom, sort of reformed here, reshaped out of the ruins of his early escapades. And hopefully you join me for the second half. So with that said, of course, I will say this is your chance to subscribe, right? If you set notifications, that way you'll know when new episodes come out. We'll try not to drink too much in the future here, friends. And with all that said, oh yeah, please hit that like button. And with all that said, I appreciate you folks. And I will see you, friends, next time.